Hello, my name is Goose and I am on the loose today with a review of Alice Madness Returns. Now, Alice Madness Returns is a 2011 action-adventure game developed by Spicy Horse and released by EA for Windows, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. This is the sequel to American Geese Alice. Now, I'll keep this as spoiler-free as possible when explaining the game's overview. Alice Madness Returns follows our main character Alice Liddell, who struggles with trauma from her family dying in a fire after she's released from a psychiatric clinic. She proceeds to return to Wonderland, which isn't as she remembers, and she must uncover the truth behind her family's demise to save Wonderland, which is linked to her sanity, as well as returning to the real world to save her body. Now, I played this game all the way through. Twice, actually. Once on a normal difficulty, and once on a nightmare difficulty with the New Game Plus. Yes, it does in fact have a New Game Plus mode. How dope is that? And it is certainly worth playing a second time on nightmare mode, might I add. It's challenging. Sections of it were more challenging than you would, presume. And I'm saying that from the mouth of a seasoned gamer who has been gaming for a lot of years and have played a lot of different genres. Now, my first impressions of this game had me going, wow, this is super aesthetically pleasing, and it's designed with an engaging story that I'm keen to get to the bottom of. Within the first couple of hours of playing, you quickly work out all the enemies have certain ways to defeat them, rather than it being a base hack and slash, as well as having platforming which does progressively get harder as you go. The character designs are also a huge highlight. The Mad Hatter and Alice herself stand out the most. Alice's costumes are unbelievably beautiful. They're different, visually appealing, and they change depending on what location she's in, which is a nice detail. The Mad Hatter's character design is honestly slightly terrifying, which I think adds so much to his feelings about Wonderland. And as an honourable mention, Cheshire Cat's design is utterly immaculate, yet terrifying, yet cool, for lack of a better word.
Go to Wonderland.
Now, unfortunately, there are some negatives with this game, as there are with most games, but
I'll set you free, Alice.
Alice Madness Returns suffers from a severe lack of polish, for lack of a better word. Now, when I say that it's not completely game-breaking, just more a nuisance. The platforming can be tedious due to the jump mechanic not always registering, so it results in you just walking off the edge. There are some hitbox issues, or more so, clipping issues with the terrain, so you get stuck on things you shouldn't. I personally had the issue of the forward movement not stopping. So I'd press W to move forward, then despite me lifting my finger, Alice would just keep moving forward. Sometimes pausing would fix it, pressing control to use your shrink ability sometimes worked, but most times I just had to push through until I got a loading screen to reset Alice. And on the rare occasion, I had to restart from my latest save point just to be able to play the game, which, when you're on Nightmare, the saves are quite far in between. But, while we've heard the good and we've heard the bad, there's one thing I haven't spoken much about, which is the art style. And holy cow, the art style is gorgeous. It's like, how do I say? It's like a comic. If you've ever played or watched someone play Borderlands, it's a similar art style to that, but way less goofy. And honestly, I'm probably explaining that terribly, but there's just something about it. It's done with such care and attention to detail. You could spend 10 minutes looking at your surroundings and you'll still find things you haven't seen before. It's easy on the eyes, with a perfect blend of colours across the board while still having that serious undertone and supporting the grittiness of the situation Alice finds herself in. A nice example is the teapots you find. They're a stunning gold detailed pot with a succulent big bright red eye in the middle that rolls across the floor when you defeat them.
I'll set you
Honestly,
free, Alice.
the first couple times I would just sit there and stare at the
hallucinations?
bright red eye rolling across the floor.
I've not come back here looking for a fight.
Alright,
That's a pity.
so now we are at the
Certainly
end, where I've got to
looking for
score
you.
Alice Madness Returns. I do honestly believe that even with the issues it has, the game is more than worth your time. Of course, glitches are an annoyance and sometimes can be game breaking. However, if you are interested in the story, I don't think you'll be too bothered by a couple of glitches. And trust me, the story is by far the best part of this game, followed closely by the design. An extra thing I will say is that the story of Alice Little should come with a trigger warning.
What's happening?
Due to exploring such things which aren't very savoury, and I don't say this willy-nilly, they don't just tell a story with hints towards a triggering subject, they fully push it right in your face, and I honestly don't think it was necessary. It's very easy to read between the lines, sorry, not behind. You can read behind the lines if you like, but I would recommend reading between the lines and work out what's going on and why what has happened. But anyhow, despite that, I can easily recommend Alice Madness Returns and give it a solid score of 8 out of 10 pig snouts. Now, this has been my review of Alice Madness Returns. Of course, it's up to you whether you want to pick it up for yourself or just take what I said and go, yeah, that sounds cool, and move on from there. This is just my opinion, but I did personally really like it. So, this is a short review. Reviews aren't, exactly need to be that long unless I'm including spoilers, but my name is Goose, and I have been on the loose today in a review of Alice Madness Returns.